Welcome to section 2. We'll be talking about inputs and outputs. Inputs and outputs are the fundamentals of robotics. Just like we humans have inputs and outputs, robots too need inputs and outputs. And in fact, any sort of maker project that we'll be making and all the sub-projects that we make, they'll all include inputs and outputs. So like for us humans, we have our 5 senses, right? Sight, sound, smell, touch, etc. So imagine someone calls your name, right? That's sound. So that's the input. So the sound is an input, comes into your ear, and then you can turn around depending on the direction of the sound. Or maybe you smell something burning. So that's an input, right? The smell of something burning is an input, and the output is your reaction. So our muscles, in fact, are how we output, or in fact voice too, right? Because I'm outputting voice. So maybe someone calls your name, you can output like a response, as a response to their input. Same way, if someone touches you on the back, that's an input. You respond by twisting your body again, moving your muscles as an output process. The same way, the microbit and all our programs, every single piece of code that we write will include inputs and outputs. That's just the fundamentals of robotics, in fact. So for the microbit, in fact, we have quite a few inputs and outputs already built in to the microbit. So in your microbit, you have 2 buttons, button A and button B. This is an input. It also has an accelerometer, which can detect motion. So it can detect stuff like a free fall, like, if you drop your microbit, or if you shake your microbit vigorously, or which way it's facing, if it's facing up, if it's facing down, perhaps if it's tilted to the right or the left. Is the screen down or is the screen up? So these are all inputs. The outputs for the microbit is this big screen over here. It has a 5x5 LED screen, and that's the output. So imagine, we'll be writing code in a minute now, but imagine if I give it an input of pressing the button A. Now on the screen, you can respond with an output like displaying a number, or maybe saying out your name on the screen or something like that. So that's an input and an output. Another thing is, you might notice these pins down below. These are called GPIO pins, which stand for General Purpose Input and Output Pins. And as you might have seen in the name, the general purpose input and output pins. The input and output means that you can connect other sorts of inputs. So again, like I mentioned, the buttons and shake sensor and stuff like that built in here. You can connect other sort of sensors like temperature sensors, flex sensors, rain sensors, gas sensors, whatever, right? And we'll look into some of those sensors further down the course. But you can also connect output pins, so you can connect stuff like motors, or screens, bigger screens, or some sort of actuation device. I mean, the possibilities are endless. Any sort of robotic device that it relies on output can be connected to the microbit. So let's go onto the computer and let's make our first program here. So if we go to a microbit MakeCode site, we can see there's onStart and forever blocks. For now, we won't need any of those blocks, and we'll go straight into input. As you can see, the second block here is input. We're going to click on that, and we're going to press button A, and we're going to drag it out. Alternatively, you could just click button A and it'll bring it to the screen, up to you, whatever you're more comfortable with. So I'm going to ignore the second one. I'm going to throw it in the trash. So if I pick up the block and bring it over the section on towards the left, I get this trash can, and I can delete the block. So again, I can do the same with onStart and forever, since we don't need that for now. I'm going to start button A with showing a number. Let's maybe show, you can show your age, right? So I'll just put in my age. So I'm 20 years old. So now if I press the button A, it'll show my age. Let's do the same for button B. So how you do this is you again pull out the on button A pressed, and instead of pressing button A, I'm going to click this pull down menu here, and I'm going to press button B. Here maybe I'll show a string. A string stands for any sort of text, right? So I can say hello, or as programmers often do, hello world. And as a last input for a program, I'm going to pick another block. So instead of button press, I'm going to pick on shake. And when I press on shake, I'm going to go into basic, and I'm going to go into the third option, which is show icon, sorry. I'm going to drag that and put this inside here. And if you click on the drop down menu here, you have a lot of options, and you can select whatever you want. So maybe I'll select let's see. I'll take this ghost. That looks pretty cool. So on the left here, you can see there's a simulator here, and we'll just test our code on the simulator first. Then we'll test it on the actual microbit. So I'm gonna press the button A, and it's gonna show me 20. Okay, that's cool. So button A press works. I'm gonna press button B now. So I'm gonna go click button B, and it will scroll through and say hello world. Yeah, that's cool. And I'm gonna shake. So again, since it's a simulator, you can't physically shake your computer, but you can press a shake button, and that'll simulate a shake. And I think that doesn't seem to be working on the simulator. Anyway, let's flash our code, and we'll hop onto the live microbit view, and I'll show you what it looks like on the microbit. Okay, now we have our code flashed on the microbit, and we're gonna test it out. So again, right now I have the microbit connected with the USB cable for power, but this doesn't need to be connected to your computer. It can be connected to any sort of wall outlet, or you could also be powering your microbit off of the battery once the code is flashed. So now that we have this here, let's test out our code. If we here, I'll bring it closer to the camera. Pressing button A shows us the number 20, or in your case, whatever number you programmed. Pressing button B shows us hello world, and it's going to scroll through. And if I shake it, there we go. We get our little ghost, or I mean the icon that you would have selected in the same case. So yeah, as you can see, that's how the basic inputs and outputs of a microbit work.